Do you believe that honesty is the best policy? That being transparent builds trust? For years, society has sold you this lie, and it's the most dangerous piece of advice you've ever received. It's the reason you feel constantly one step behind. The truth is, your transparency is giving your rivals the ammunition they need to defeat you. Your predictability is why people exploit your kindness instead of respecting it. Perhaps you've even mastered setting boundaries and demanding basic respect, but you still feel like you're reacting to the game instead of controlling it. You're discovering the brutal truth: the world never plays fair. No matter how honest you are, someone will betray you. This feeling is a sign that you are operating on a different level of power. This is because there are two levels of power. The first is defensive. It's the fortress you build with boundaries and consequences. It's essential for survival, but it's not how you win. It's the equivalent of playing checkers. The second level is projective. It is the art of shaping the world outside your walls, of influencing outcomes so quietly that no one ever sees your hand at work. This is not just power, this is dark intelligence. Dark intelligence is born when people get betrayed, humiliated, and defeated. Others break down, but you build strength from that pain. The amateur believes power is loud. They win arguments, make demands, and force their will. The master knows that real power whispers. It is born from what is unsaid, what is unseen, and what is unrevealed. It's the kind of intelligence that listens, watches, stays quiet, and strikes at the perfect moment. While others argue, you gather information. While they get angry, you calculate. While they drown in emotions, you plan the future. Niccolò Machiavelli understood this. He watched good leaders fall. He saw kind rulers destroyed. He knew that the greatest strategists don't just react to the board, they psychologically control the other player. Today we are opening his advanced playbook. This is the masterclass. You will learn 5 forbidden secrets of strategy that separate the survivors from the victims, the leaders from the followers, the players from the pawns. But let me be crystal clear, this is not a lesson in becoming a manipulator. This knowledge is for your protection, not destruction. It's about understanding the game so you can't be played. You're about to learn how to read the hidden motives of others, control the narrative of any situation, and achieve your goals with a silent, deadly precision. Are you ready to stop just playing the game and start defining the entire battlefield? If you are, make a new commitment. Type this into the comments below. I am the strategist, not the strategy. Chapter 1. The Law of Calculated Opacity. The first and most critical law of invisible influence is calculated opacity. This means you are never completely clear about your intentions. You show only what is necessary. The transparent person is the vulnerable person. An open book is easy to read, but it's also easy to rip pages out of. You must become a locked diary. The powerless person feels an obligation to explain everything, their motivations, their fears, their plans. They think they are being honest and building trust, but they are actually giving away their power. Predictability is the death of respect. When people know exactly how you think and what you want, they can easily manage, control, and counter you. This law is rooted in a deep psychological truth. When people don't have the full story, their minds automatically rush to fill in the blanks. This is called the curiosity gap. They project their own fears, hopes, and assumptions onto your ambiguity. Their imagination is what controls them. As Machiavelli once said, everyone sees what you appear to be. Few experience what you really are. This creates a fundamental power imbalance. The human mind is desperate for certainty and needs to categorize people. When you resist easy classification, you occupy their thoughts. While they are busy trying to solve the puzzle of you, you are free to analyze the situation. Their need for closure makes them predictable, while your ambiguity keeps you in control. Smart people understand that mystery creates influence. When you don't reveal everything, people become curious. Curiosity leads to interest. Interest leads to respect, and respect leads to influence. Let's make this practical. The amateur, when a rival asks about their weekend, they say, "Oh, not much, just staying home, maybe watching some movies." This is complete transparency, but it's also completely forgettable and signals low status. The master, when asked the same question, they smile slightly and say, "I have something important to take care of," and then change the subject. Notice the difference. The first answer makes you predictable. The second answer makes you interesting and makes them wonder. This isn't about lying, it's about controlled exposure. It's about strategic communication. You are selective about what you share and when you share it. In a meeting, don't reveal your best idea at the start. Hold it in reserve. Let others talk. Gather information. When the moment is right, you provide the solution, making you seem not just smart, but decisive. In a negotiation, never be the first to state your bottom line. Let them talk. The less they know about your priorities, the more mistakes they will make. When you practice this, people start paying more attention to what you say, because they know you don't say everything. Your words carry more weight because they are rare. Your information is your currency. Stop giving it away for free. Don't spend it all at once. Type this into the comments. My mystery is my leverage. Chapter 2. The Law of Silent Leverage. The amateur thinks power is about direct force. They raise their voice, make demands, and try to force their will on others. This is amateur hour. Real power whispers. Silent leverage is the art of creating influence without saying a word. It's about positioning yourself so that your mere presence changes the dynamic of any situation. Instead of telling people what to do, you create situations where they naturally want to do what benefits you. Instead of demanding respect, you make yourself indispensable. This requires patience, the ability to play the long game. Direct force creates psychological friction. When you push someone, their natural instinct is to push back. You activate their ego, their pride, and their desire for autonomy. Silent leverage bypasses this resistance entirely. By shaping the environment and incentives, you make your desired path look like the most logical and appealing choice. They don't feel controlled. They feel like they are making their own intelligent decision, which makes them more committed to the outcome. Let's break down the mechanics of this silent power. The power of the pause. Most people are terrified of silence in a conversation. They rush to fill the void with nervous chatter, and in that chatter they reveal everything. You must become comfortable with the pause. When you're comfortable with silence, you control the rhythm of the conversation. Next time someone asks you a difficult question, don't answer immediately. Pause. Look at them thoughtfully. Let the silence stretch. This creates immense psychological pressure. Often they will start talking again, rephrasing, giving away more information, or softening their position before you've said a word. The silence itself becomes the heaviest influence in the room. The power of indispensability. Stop asking for recognition and start adding undeniable value. Don't announce that you're the problem solver, just solve problems consistently until everyone knows they need you. You don't have to demand loyalty when people's success becomes tied to your presence. You earn it through your actions. Your value becomes your leverage. They can't afford to lose you, so they give you power willingly. The power of alternatives. In any negotiation or relationship, the person with the most power is the one who is most willing to walk away. This is the principle of detachment. You don't have to threaten to leave. Your quiet confidence, born from the knowledge that you have other options, is enough. When they sense you are not desperate for the outcome, they negotiate differently. What you're not afraid to lose can't control you. Your freedom from needing them is a silent threat that forces them to offer you better terms. These three pillars work together seamlessly. The pause gives you tactical control in the moment. Indispensability builds your strategic value over time. And the principle of detachment is the foundation that gives you the psychological freedom to use both effectively. Without detachment, you will be too afraid to use the pause or too needy to build true value. Master them together, and your influence becomes quiet but absolute. Silent leverage requires a profound shift in mindset from short-term wins to long-term influence. You plant seeds and wait for them to grow. You become the quiet force that shapes outcomes without anyone realizing it's happening. Chapter 3. The Law of the Psychological Echo. This is one of the most advanced and potent tools in the strategist's arsenal. Psychological echo is the art of becoming a mirror that reflects back what people need to see and hear. You reflect people's deepest needs and fears back to them. They think you're speaking their language, but actually you're gaining understanding and influence. This isn't about deception, it's about deep understanding and strategic communication. Most people are trapped inside their own heads. They are too focused on what they want to say, not what the other person needs to hear. They listen only to respond, waiting for their turn to talk. The master strategist becomes a student of human nature. They understand that every person they meet is driven by invisible burdens, secret desires, and unspoken fears. Every person you meet is silently asking 3 questions. Do you see me? Do you understand me? Do you value me? When you can answer yes to these questions through your communication, you create a powerful, almost unbreakable bond. Here's how it works in practice. You listen for the emotion behind the words. The amateur, when a colleague says, "I hate my job," the amateur jumps in with advice, "You should quit," or "Have you tried looking for another one?" They try to solve the surface-level problem. The master listens deeper and hears the underlying feeling, a lack of appreciation or a fear of stagnation. They use a psychological echo. They might say, "It sounds like you're not feeling valued for your contributions," or "It seems like you're ready for something that challenges you more." Notice the difference. The master doesn't offer a solution. They reflect the emotional experience. This makes the other person feel profoundly understood, which creates immediate trust and influence. Once you understand someone's core needs, be it security, recognition, or freedom, you can frame all of your ideas in terms that naturally appeal to them. If someone values security, you present your ideas in terms of safety and stability. If someone values recognition, you present your ideas in terms of achievement and acknowledgement. You're not changing your message, you're changing how you present it to match their psychological profile. This reframing is where influence solidifies into power. You are not just being empathetic, you are aligning your objectives with their subconscious drivers. To the person who fears instability, your plan becomes a safe harbor. To the one who craves validation, your proposal becomes a stage to shine on. You are translating your agenda into the language of their desires, making agreement feel not like a concession, but like a natural step toward their own fulfillment. This isn't manipulation when used ethically. When you use this technique to genuinely understand people and help them get what they need, it becomes a tool for building incredibly strong alliances. You become their favorite person to talk to, because you are the only one who truly seems to understand them. All the while, you are gathering invaluable intelligence about their deepest motivations. Type this into the comments. To understand them is to influence them. Chapter 4. The Law of Ambiguous Morality. This is the most controversial and misunderstood law of dark intelligence. So, let's be crystal clear. Ambiguous morality does not mean having no morals. It does not mean hurting people to get ahead. It means understanding that the real world is complicated and that pure black and white moral clarity is a luxury that few can afford in high-stakes situations. It means focusing on outcomes rather than appearances. Sometimes the action that looks nice on the surface creates terrible results, and sometimes the action that looks harsh is the most ethical choice for the greater good. Someone with ambiguous morality might decide that protecting the many is more important than being nice to the one. Let's use a real-world example. Imagine you lead a team and discover one member is consistently lying to clients. The nice approach. Give them another chance, provide more training, and hope they improve. This feels good. But in the process, you enable bad behavior, betray the trust of your clients, and demoralize the honest members of your team. The pragmatic approach. You make the difficult, unpopular decision to remove that person from the team. It feels harsh, but it protects the many from the actions of the one. This isn't cruelty, it's pragmatic ethics. This requires the courage to be misunderstood, The nice approach is often a shield for cowardice, a way to avoid conflict and gain easy social approval. The pragmatist, however, is willing to be seen as the villain in the short term if it means ensuring a better future. They accept the personal cost of an unpopular decision because their commitment is to the result, not to their own comfort. This law requires you to stop asking, "What action makes me look like a good person?" and start asking, "What action leads to the best outcome for the most people?" It requires a different kind of moral thinking, one that takes responsibility for long-term consequences, not just short-term feelings. This is not a justification for selfishness. You are not doing whatever benefits you at others' expense. You are making pragmatic decisions that serve a greater good, even when those decisions are personally difficult. It's about understanding that sometimes true kindness requires telling a difficult truth, and true leadership requires making decisions that others might not understand or approve of. Understand this. Society often rewards the appearance of virtue, not the difficult practice of it. The person who makes the easy, nice choice is praised today, even if it leads to failure tomorrow. The pragmatist is often criticized today for a decision whose wisdom will only be proven by time. You must be willing to trade short-term popularity for long-term effectiveness and respect. The danger of this trait is that it can be used to justify harmful behavior. That is why you must first establish your own non-negotiable values and the ethical lines you will never cross. Within those boundaries, you give yourself permission to be strategic in a complex world where simple answers don't always work. Type this into the comments: "I seek the best outcome, not the easiest path." Chapter 5. The Law of Outcome Obsession. The final law is what separates the dreamers from the doers, the talkers from the achievers. Outcome obsession. It is a ruthless focus on results, not on ego, process, or being right. You're not here to win arguments or prove points. You're here to get results. The world is full of people who get distracted by things that don't matter. They want to be right more than they want to be effective. They get into pointless arguments trying to prove their point and demonstrate their superior logic. They win the battle of the argument, but lose the war of the outcome. The outcome-obsessed person asks a different question before every interaction: what result am I trying to achieve? In a disagreement, maybe the goal isn't to prove the other person wrong, but to change their behavior. Proving them wrong might actually backfire, making them more stubborn. People don't like being wrong, and they often become more stubborn when they feel attacked. A better approach might be to let them reach the right conclusion on their own. This requires a profound separation of your ego from your objective. The ego craves immediate validation. It wants to win the argument, land the clever remark, and see the other person admit defeat. But the strategist understands that the ego's victory is often the mission's loss. You must be willing to let others feel smart, to let them take credit, and even to appear wrong in the moment, as long as the ultimate outcome moves in your favor. This mindset leads to what is called strategic laziness. Outcome-obsessed people often appear to do less than others because they are selective about where they put their energy. They focus only on the 20% of activities that produce 80% of the results. They aren't trying to be the hardest worker, they are trying to be the most effective worker. They are attached to their goals, not their methods. If one approach isn't working, they discard it without emotion and try another. They avoid the trap of looking busy without being productive. They are constantly asking, is this activity actually moving me toward my goal, or am I just staying busy to avoid the more difficult but more important work? Failure to the outcome obsessed is not a source of shame, it is simply data. When a strategy fails, they don't waste energy on regret or blame. They analyze the data, extract the lesson, and adapt their approach. This emotional detachment from their own methods is their greatest strength. While others are paralyzed by the fear of looking foolish, the strategist is already running the next experiment, relentlessly iterating until they find the path to victory. This is the ultimate trait that separates amateurs from professionals. Your intentions are worthless. Your efforts are irrelevant. Your results are everything. History does not remember the people who meant well. It remembers the people who got things done. When people know you as someone who delivers, they start bringing you better opportunities, better partnerships, and better problems to solve. Type this into the comments. My focus is my weapon. You have just been given 5 secrets from a master strategist's playbook: calculated opacity, silent leverage, the psychological echo, ambiguous morality, and outcome obsession. This is not just knowledge, it is a set of tools. But knowledge without application is worthless. Pick one of these laws that resonated with you the most. For the next 7 days, practice it. Don't try to master all of them at once. Focus on one. Notice how people respond differently. Notice how you feel when you approach situations with strategic intelligence instead of emotional reactivity. But remember the warning from the beginning. This power comes with responsibility. Use these insights to protect yourself, not to harm others. The true purpose of dark intelligence is not to become a manipulator, but to become someone who can't be manipulated. It is not to gain power over others, but to gain power over yourself and your circumstances. The most valuable person in any room is the one who understands human psychology and uses that understanding to make everyone's life better. If this video changed how you think about intelligence and power, hit that like button, share it with someone who is ready to see the world as it really is, and subscribe for more truths that challenge everything you've been taught. Now, drop this final affirmation in the comments to seal your commitment to this new path. My intelligence serves my purpose.